Real-time strategy games ran the 2000s. There was Warcraft, Age of Empires, Command and Conquer. There was a type of game for anyone. And then after that, things started to slow down. It was like there was a Thanos snap, and all the RTS games started disappearing. And when we start looking at it, we start understanding that players' motivations change over time. They don't game the same way they do today as they did years ago. And this week on the Player Driven Podcast, we spoke with Nick Yee from Quantic Foundry, actually measures players' motivations in these types of games to understand what is happening and why are we seeing less players play these games these days. So the first thing you talked about when it came to real-time strategy was conscientiousness. What is that? Well, it's the personality trait that is you being organized, self-disciplined, and goal-oriented. We're actually seeing that in the general population. People who are conscientiousness are actually declining. So we're seeing less people who want to plan for this stuff, this long-term rigorous planning. Second one is we see a lot of social media exhaustion. We're seeing people who don't want to be worn out by these mechanics over and over again. They don't want to be engaged in this deep thinking. They want to just turn their brain off and just be less overloaded for it. We've seen a rise in mainstream gaming. We're seeing a lot of non-gamers get into the marketplace. And if you think about gaming in the early 2000s, not for nothing, it was really a bunch of nerds ourselves who were playing these types of games. And now there's a whole bunch of new players that are playing these games. And they're looking for action games and socialization, the interests that are more and more popular with the bigger group than the original group that came in, meaning we're seeing less people who are interested in these types of games because they're not growing at the same rate as other games. And just the evolution of game design. We've seen games like Hearthstone and Balatro who are finding gameplay loops that are more fun, they're quicker, they're easier to hit those dopamine hits than we do in strategy games. So we're seeing all this happen, but strategy itself as a genre is also starting to grow. We see more MOBAs, we see more 4X type of games, which were born from the real-time strategy game. It's really cool stuff. You should check out playergen.io for the podcast with Nick Yee and let us know what RTS game got you hooked on the scene. Was it Command and Conquer, Warcraft? Maybe it was StarCraft.